Since the year 1898, the United States of America has maintained a military stronghold over the Philippines. The relationship between the two countries are both special and unusual. It was expressed in kinship with the use of terms like compadre colonialism and little brown brother. A shared experience fighting the Japanese in World War II further cemented their special relationship. The United States took advantage of this partnership to compel the Philippines to sign an economic and military treaty that favored American businesses and the military respectively. This documentary includes some of the military bases that the Americans have established in the Philippine Islands during their time of occupation. One of the oldest military bases that were established in the Philippine Islands during the early 1900s is the Fort McKinley, named after the U.S. President William McKinley. It is located in the city of Taguig and is currently known as Fort Bonifacio. Named in honor of Andres Bonifacio, the Supreme of the Katipunan. His father was a resident of Taguig City. The main street leading to the fort was named McKinley Road, and a large tract of its land was kept as a cemetery for American soldiers who died in the Philippines during World War II. Another military base that was established during the early 1900s is the Riagan Barracks, located in Legazpi City, Albay. It has served as the United States Army Pacification Forces Reservation Camp in southern Luzon in 1991. It was renamed as Camp Simeon Ola in honor of General Simeon Ola, who was known as the last general to surrender in the American forces. Camp Murphy. This was established in January 1935 at the city of Quezon. The camp was named after Frank Murphy, the last American Governor General of the Philippines, who has also the first American High Commissioner after First Philippine Commonwealth Government was established. On June 19, 1965, the name was changed to Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo in accordance with Republic Act 4434. It is now a home to various government institutions such as the Department of National Defense and the National Capital Region Command. Camp O'Donnell, located in Capas, Tarlac, was an American Air Force base during the Japanese occupation of the Philippines in the Second World War. Camp O'Donnell was the final stop of the Bataan Death March and was used as an internment camp for the American and Filipino prisoners of war. This former internment camp is the location for the Capas National Shrine, which was built by the Philippine government as a memorial to the Filipino and American soldiers who died there. Camp O'Donnell is now a camp of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP. In 1903, a portion of Clark, Pampanga, was established by the U.S. Cavalry as Fort Statenburg. In 1917, the eastern portion of the fort was converted into an airfield and was renamed as Clark Airfield in honor of Major Harold Clark, who was a World War I pilot. It became the largest U.S. Air Force base outside the United States mainland and became the operational U.S. Air Force base in the Far East. It was only on the 21st of November 1991 when the base was turned over to the Philippine government. The Americans left Clark Air Base in a big mess from the eruption of Mount Pinatubo in June 1991. But they returned in the early 2000s when the Philippines and the U.S. agreed to sign the 1998 Visiting Air Force Agreement, VFA, which allows American troops to come back for transition and training and exercises in the country. The Nichols Field was used by American and Filipino Army Air Corps unit prior to World War II. It was turned over to the Philippine Air Force in January 1948 and is presently known as the Villamor Air Base, named in honor of the Filipino pilot Jesus A. Villamor, who fought during the Second World War. It is located in Pasay City and currently serves as the main headquarters of the Philippine Air Force. Wallace Air Station, located in San Fernando, La Union, is a facility of the United States Air Force, which was named in honor of Second Lieutenant George W. Wallace, a Medal of Honor recipient from the U.S. 9th Infantry Regiment. The station was also home to a number of fuel storage facilities. It was also a home to Voice of America broadcasting equipment, as well as various Philippine force antennas. The facility was formally turned over by the United States to the Republic of the Philippines on September 16, 1991. At present, the base's Conversion Development Authority is converting this area into a tourism and industrial estate. The base was constructed in November 1941 by the United States prior to World War II and was named Florida Blanca Airfield after a nearby small town, Florida Blanca, Pampanga. In May 1947, the base was transferred to Philippine control, and on April 20, 1948, it was then renamed as the Basa Air Base and home of Lieutenant Cesar Fernando Basa, a Filipino fighter pilot who became a World War II hero. Currently, it is being used by the Philippine Air Force and is the home base of the Philippine Air Force 5th Wing Fighter. The Mactan Air Base, located on the small island of Mactan, Cebu, was constructed by the U.S. Air Force in 1956 as an emergency field for the American Strategic Command bombers, but during the Vietnam War it was used extensively as an air transit point for the American troops and supplies bound for the war zone. After the war, it was transferred to the Philippine Air Force. In June of 1996, Mactan Air Base was renamed Mactan Benito Ebuen Air Base in honor of former Brigadier General Benito Ebuen, a distinguished former chief of the Air Force who died in a plane crash in 1957 along with then President Ramon Magsaysay. From 1901 to 1992, the United States operated a naval base in the Philippines, the Subic Bay Naval Station, which became their largest naval installation in the country. The area suffered heavy damage during World War II. It was taken by the Japanese in 1942 and retaken by Allied forces in 1944. Its proximity to Southeast Asia gave the U.S. naval base a prominent supply and maintenance role in the Vietnam War as well as the Cold War in the second half of the 20th century. After the U.S. turned over of the base to the Philippines in 1992, the area was redeveloped as a free enterprise zone that included establishing a free port and manufacturing plants, building tourist facilities in the coastal areas, and converting the air base there to an international airport. The primary purpose of the U.S. Naval Communication Stations, San Miguel, NAVCOM Stafil, was to provide communications to U.S. Navy ships operating in the area of the Philippines. Located in San Antonio, Zambales, the base was named for the tiny fishing village of San Miguel, which is adjacent to the southern end of the station. The United States turned over the base to the Philippine government in 1992 and is now the home of the Philippine Navy's Naval Educational and Training Command. Naval Station Sangley Point was the communication hospital facility of the United States Navy, which occupied the northern portion of the Cavite City Peninsula and is surrounded by Manila Bay. The station was turned over to the Philippine government in 1971 and is now operated by the Philippine Air Force and Philippine Navy. The presence of the Americans in the Philippines greatly affected our country and the lives of many Filipino people. Through the colonial relationship that we had with them, suffrage was introduced, public education was implemented, and national independence was given to us. However, at the same time, the presence of their military bases in the country has left irreversible environmental damages that have caused public health hazard on the Filipino living in the communities near the camp. In addition, the country also became a recreational spot for the U.S. troops, which demanded prostitution and trade in human flesh whenever U.S. troops are stationed for port calls or military exercises with the Philippine military.